So you've got 10 minutes to drop your kid at daycare and get to work and not be late again. But what if I told you that the thing you're trying to drop your kid at, a daycare, could actually be your next business? Most of the people think that starting a daycare means endless paperwork, high cost, and zero profit. But the truth, it's one of the most in-demand, government-supported, and profitable small businesses in Canada that is growing faster than ever. Imagine turning your home into a safe, nurturing space where kids can learn, play, and grow while you build a profitable business. That's the power of a daycare. At its core, a daycare business provides structured care and supervision for infants and children, typically while their parents are at work. But how you structure that care? That's where the business opportunity lies. You can run your daycare business in two main ways, as a home-based operation or a commercial center. The choice is yours. In short, whether you're looking for flexibility or scale, daycare can be shaped around your skills, space, and local demand. But not all daycare models are built the same. One scalable, the other is low cost. One feels like school, the other feels like family. Let's break down the rules, at least in Ontario. If you're running a home daycare agency, you can care up to 6 children under age of 13. But if you're unlicensed, you can still operate, but you are limited to 5 children or fewer. And no, you can't just call it a family favorite. The law is clear. Commercial centers, they scale much higher, but they also come with bigger overhead, staffing needs, and licensing requirements. So now you know the two main paths. But you can't run a daycare without understanding one critical rule: staff to child ratios. Get this wrong and you risk safety, compliance, and trust. So let's break down the exact ratios for each age group. For infants under 18 months, the ratio is 1 caregiver to 3 babies with a maximum group size of 10 children. This ensures each baby gets enough attention like feeding, diaper changes, constant supervision, and etc. As kid grows into toddlers 18 months to 30 months, the ratio relaxes a little bit. It's 1 to 5, and now you can take up to 15 toddlers per age group. They're more mobile and curious and independent, but still require close guidance during play, meals, and transitions. For preschoolers, 30 months to 6 years, it's 1 staff for every 8 children with a maximum of 24 per group. This is where learning kicks in. Structured activities, social skills, and early education all happen within a safe, manageable group size. Next is kindergarten. In kindergarten, you can have a kid up to 7 years of age. The ratio expands here. It's 1 to 13, allowing up to 26 children per group. Kids are more self-sufficient, but caregivers still play a vital role in emotional support and classroom management. For primary and junior school age, which is 68 months to 13 years, the ratio is 1 to 15. With groups up to 30 kids. And for older kids, 9 to 13 years, it can go as high as 1 to 20, but only in licensed after-school programs where supervision is less intensive. These ratios aren't arbitrary. They're designed to keep kids safe, engaged, and thriving at every stage. Now that you know the rules, here's the big question. Why are so many families desperate for quality daycare? Stick around because the demand has never been higher. Imagine this. Your baby isn't even born yet and you're already adding them to 10 daycare waitlists. In Canada, that's not an exaggeration, it's reality. Let's talk numbers. In Kawartha Lakes, Ontario, the average waitlist for licensed daycare has skyrocketed to 6.4 years, up from 3.7 years in 2022. That's longer than some people spend in elementary school. And it's not just one city. Across Canada, 80 to 90% of daycare centers have active waitlists, some stretching to 2027. This isn't a shortage, it's a crisis. And that means one thing for you. If you can provide care, you'll never run out of customers. Now here's the good news. You don't need a huge building or a multi-million-dollar investment to get started. It has low barriers to entry. Canada currently has 14,435 licensed and 14,022 unlicensed home-based daycare providers. This serves approximately 155,000 children, both from home-based and commercial combined. That means you can start right from your living room. No commercial lease, no massive overhead. Just a safe space, the right setup, and a license if you want one. And for newcomers to Canada, this is a golden opportunity. Nearly 40% of childcare providers are immigrants. So if you're new to Canada and just looking to start a business, This actually serves like a real need, and this might be your moment. But before you rush into opening a daycare, let's talk numbers, because while their demand is massive, you need to understand exactly what it costs and how to run one profitably. Let's say your daycare pulls $500,000 a year. That sounds great, but where does the money go? First up, salaries. They eat up 65% of the revenue. That's $325,000 for your staff. It's actually your biggest expense, but it also keeps your daycare running smoothly. Next is lease. If you're in a commercial space, rent will cost you about 11%, which is $55,000 annually. And don't forget utilities. That's another $15,000, which is 3% for electricity, water, and heating. If you took out a loan to get started, interest will set you back around $25,000, which is 5%. And yes, even small things add up, like supplies, which is $20,000, insurance, which is $10,000, and groceries about $15,000 for snacks and meals. Add it all up, and all your total expenses comes to about $465,000. That leaves a profit margin of 6 to 8%, which is about $35,000. Now, that might not sound like a fortune, but there's the good news. There's help available. In fact, the Canadian government is pouring billions of dollars into early childhood education and childcare businesses. So what if I told you that the average cost of daycare in Canada is being cut in half, and in some places, it's dropping to just $10 a day? It's not a dream. Is the Canada-wide early learning and childcare program, and it's changing the game for parents and entrepreneurs alike. The federal government's mission is bold: reduce regulated childcare fees by at least 50% by 2026, with the goal of making high-quality care just $10 a day across the country. As of early 2025, 8 provinces and territories already offer the $10 a day or less. The rest have cut fees by half. That means families and young kids are saving up to $16,200 per child. In March 2025, the federal government extended the CWELCC agreements with 11 of 13 provinces and territories through 2031, committing $36.8 billion and adding 3% annual funding increasing starting in 2027. They're also creating 250,000 new childcare spaces by 2026. In Ontario alone, over $201 million is being invested in underserved communities. And here's what it looks like. One Toronto parent shared online that they have been paying $1,300 a month for a daycare full-time. But now, with the CWELCC program, they only have to pay $600. That means they can have $600 more in savings for their future. Now, as a CPA who has worked with over 100 small businesses, my job isn't to paint a perfect picture. My job is to give you the full story. The good, the challenging, and everything in between. No business is risk-free. And while the daycare industry is booming, there are real challenges you need to know about. So let's be real for a moment. Here are the cons you can't afford to ignore. First is the upfront costs. It is high. We're talking about $150,000 to $500,000 just to open a licensed commercial daycare. That's not just a few thousand for a home setup. That's real estate, renovation, insurance, and staffing. And here's the catch. The very program meant to help, the $10 a daycare initiative, now gives the government control over your pricing. You can't raise fees even if your costs go up. So when rent jumps or the insurance doubles, you're at a loss. Then there's the human cost. Kids get sick a lot. And if you're running this from home, your own family is exposed. And let's be real, staffing is brutal. You're locked into strict ratios, 1:3 for infant, 1:3 for preschoolers, and hiring qualified teachers is nearly impossible. You have to pay them enough to stay and your margins vanish. So where does that leave us? If I had to pick, I would start a licensed daycare where I would choose not to opt into the CWELCC fees reduction or rebates. Why? Because a licensed private daycare can only charge above the government prescribed rate, which is $10 a day, if they do not participate in this program, or the care is outside the program scope. So yes, daycare is in demand. Yes, it is a business opportunity, but the truth is the model is broken. And it's the small operators who are paying the price. And if you found this honest breakdown helpful, hit like and subscribe. I'm not here to sell dreams. I'm here to give you the full picture so you can make smart decisions. So drop a comment below. Do you think daycare should be public, or can small businesses still make it work? I'd love to hear your thoughts.